Crazy Talk with two crazy ladies. I'm Carrie, and as always, I'm here with my wonderful co-host, Sophia. How are you doing today, Sophia?
I'm doing fantastic, Carrie, and I'm incredibly excited about today's episode. So, we have a special guest joining us who brings a unique blend of mind, body, and soul healing. So, her name is Jacky Kemp. She's an intuitive healer and an expert in theta healing. Oh, said it.
Well, we are so thrilled to have her here today to discuss the intriguing topic of inner child healing, which is why we have our lovely tiaras and bows on. We're tapping into our little inner child, but before we dive into that, let's share a little bit of fascinating tips about Jacky.
Well, definitely. So, fun fact number one, Jacky's artwork back in college was based on sacred geometry, even before she knew what it was. That's some natural instincts right there. She already knew what she was going to be doing in the future, I feel like.
Wow, that's incredible, and I feel the same. Feel fact, fun fact number two is when Jacky visited the Mayan ruins, she felt as if she was coming home. She had that same profound feeling during the cross-country drive that she had in America. She lives in Europe, Britain. Where does she live?
In UK? Yeah, she
In
lives
the
in
UK.
UK.
In
Mm-hmm.
the UK.
Yep.
And it's amazing how the places that you go to can resonate so deeply with our spirit, right?
Yes, absolutely. And here's fun fact number three, which is one of my favorites, actually. So Jackie's journey into animal healing started with her cat Pippi, who I love. He is just awesome. And Pippi's illness prompted her to expand her healing practice from humans to our furry friends. What a beautiful story. I love that. I have three cats, so hence it's awesome.
Well, that's some fascinating insights, Sophia. We can't wait to hear more about her experiences and expertise. So, without any further ado, let's dive into today's topic: inner child healing.
Welcome, Jackie. We're so excited to have you with us.
Yeah.
Jackie's here to help us talk about inner child work.
Yes, our first guest.
And
So
thank you very
exciting.
much for having me on this event. And very excited to talk about inner child work because it's so important. We
So, what exactly do you do? How do you implement your inner child work?
So
What's
I'm a theta healer. So often our beliefs are created from one to seven, but we carry a lot of beliefs from our families, our parents. We carry beliefs through our DNA. So with theta healing, we actually find out what beliefs you're carrying that aren't yours. You might have had something from your mother, your father. So by finding out and releasing the beliefs, we can free up you to have your own thoughts, own emotions and feelings. So it really is important because I've carried lots of beliefs from my childhood about my intelligence, my weight. So again, all of these beliefs actually weren't mine. They were other people's. Even my friend when I was about 12 called me fat and I carried that belief I was overweight. Whereas actually, when I look back at my weight, I look bloody fantastic. So again, this is, and it can even go as far back as baby in the womb. If you were not wanted as a child, you can carry the emotions of your mother who wanted to get rid of you or abort you, or if there was hostility in the household, you can actually carry it from even in baby in the womb. So this area is such a big topic, and everyone, I don't know anyone who hasn't got an issue of inner child work, or as I said, inner children as well. So everyone carries stuff from our childhood, whether we know it, it's there. So this work is so important. And with my work, and I do even do it with animals as well. Animals have inner child work. They could have been abandoned as a puppy or as a
Mhm.
kitten, and they carry that trauma of I'm not good enough, I'll be abandoned. So yeah, it's across the board. This work is so crucial to help people heal.
Could you tell us a little bit how is it exactly that theta healing works?
So again, we take someone into a theta state, and this is by doing a short meditation before we begin the session, and we connect up to the creator, God, divine, whichever works for a person. And in doing this, I ask a series of questions. Obviously, I'm tapping into the energy and tapping into their energy and seeing what needs to be worked on. But by asking a series of questions, we find out what someone's beliefs are. And we also do a process called muscle testing, which is where you stand up, test the energy, see what the belief is, and then why it's serving them, because everyone holds on to something. And this is why people don't shift their thought patterns, because they're getting something out of it. So for me, again, I mentioned weight earlier. So for me, my weight keeps me safe. That is because I'm scared to have a relationship. So I'm holding on to my weight as a way of keeping me safe. So again, by muscle testing, we can find out what it is and why it's serving us. So again, through this process, we'll find out what your bottom belief is, what you're holding it on to for, and then we can download you with new emotions, new feelings, and new thoughts. It's really quite a simple process, but it's really getting to the core of why and where and how it was created, and then how you can shift it.
So, and then you download it. So you're kind of
Yeah,
taking it away and then putting new ones in.
yeah. And also with all of this work, it's free will. So when you say, would you like to release this emotion? And the person has to say yes, because sometimes people don't want to release it, it's their choice. And again, then when we download them with I know I'm lovable. I know what it is to be lovable. I know how to be lovable. And if they say yes to that, it creates that new thought, that emotion inside of their body, their mind, their soul, because we have on all levels, so it's even your soul. So yeah, it is a phenomenal process. I was doing a healing with a dog who felt abandoned as a child and felt scared, and after doing a session with theta healing, he was all happy and happy and really, yeah, at peace. So it is a really great modality, but as I said, it's always up to a person. If the person doesn't want to let it go, it will never be let go, and the
I,
same for
I
me
have
at
a
the moment.
feeling one of my cats needs a session with you.
Yeah,
Because her mama cat was really mean to her.
yeah, and it scars you. All of these things
Yeah.
where, we all basically want to be loved. We all want to be cherished. So again, if you had abuse in your childhood, and that doesn't mean sexual abuse, it just means even someone being kind of sharp with you. That you're not getting enough praise, where your parent doesn't say, darling, you're fantastic, fantastic. So again, or one other child is getting more praise and you're not getting any praise, and you're standing there going, oh, what about me? So,
Yes,
we're like little sponges when we're young. We
that's
just
so
sort of
true.
absorb everything. And again, if you're an intuitive person, you're absorbing even more, because you're sensing and feeling what's going on around you as well. So again, a lot of intuitive people, I'm not saying that they have more issues, but they absorb things in a different way as well, because they can walk into a room and sense the energy. So again, and especially with the younger generation coming through, who are rainbow children, they're very sensitive to thoughts, energies in a room. Wow, I haven't talked this much for ages.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful. Yes, I totally agree with you. Even with our work with QHHT, we address a lot of that inner child work because that's where our foundation is. And when you're
Yeah,
young, that's when you're trying to fit into the world and all the things that happen, you're very hyper focused.
yeah,
And anything that happens to you lines you up for different lessons. We talk about that in what we do. So without those little like jolts and things like that, we don't get those opportunities, right? But we have to heal from it, and that's what we start to learn when we're adults, that we don't have to be where the child works, what they've learned to react to. So that's wonderful. And theta healing, I gotta say, for those who don't know, I've used it a couple of times through friends myself, and it is a very wonderful modality, very
yeah,
similar. And it's all about free will. It's not, there's no
yeah.
voodoo or anything going on. It's something that as long as you're ready, you let go, and you have beautiful people like Jacky here that can help you release. So yeah.
So in case someone doesn't know, what does theta actually mean?
Right, it's the brain waves. It's the brain waves
Hmm.
that they're five, but we have five brain waves, And this is where we connect to source. It's where we receive information. Delta, I think, is a deeper brainwave that you go
It's
in.
complete sleep. My understanding, it's
Yeah,
complete
yeah,
dropping into
delta
complete
is
sleep.
deeper, whereas theta gives you up to, so we call it creator. It can open you up to channels of information. So when Sophia, when you're channeling, you're probably in a theta state
Mhm.
because it's where information comes through.
And where everyone is in
Yeah,
theta twice a day at least, that's when we're kind of like that in between awake and starting to go to sleep, right? And when we're waking up. So it's not
yeah.
something that's unnatural to your body. It's very much natural. Your body knows it very well. Yeah.
And
And it's
it's
actually a really
actually,
good time
again,
to ask
sometimes,
questions.
and it's
Yeah,
not
go ahead, Jackie.
complicated to get in. It's not complicated to get
Mm-hmm.
into a theta state because people make it really complicated. I just go, if I want to say I'm with creator, we have a meditation where you go up in the layers, but I go, poof, I'm there. Poof, I'm with creator. But it's very quick. It's a quick process to get you into it because it's a natural state for us to be in.
So how did you get into this work, Jackie?
Well, well, I started, I was very interested in spiritual stuff. My artwork, I was at art college. A lot of my artwork is based on old cultures, Mayan culture, Egyptian. So I was very interested in the mystic world. And I was studying different cultures, different things. I was looking at mediumship, spirituality. So I was delving into lots of um, different modalities. And it was really what living in America, I have to say, in the new age back in the 1980s, because I've been at this a long time. Living in America really brought me into this world, I have to say, because there was a lot of shamanic work going on. But it was about 17 years ago where I came to a crossroads and I thought I've got to go back to healing. So I had just I've had two businesses. I had a specialist painting business, and then ran a physical bookshop, but that had to shut. And then it was at crossroads, and I went healing. So I've been basically for the last 15 years learning different modalities, absorbing different things. So yeah, it was. I felt it was a calling. The time was right. So it was, I
Can
can remember where I was. I was in Oman with my brother, and we were coming back from a friend who's a channeler, and he said, "What do you want to do?" I said, "Healing," and that's it. That's where my life changed. Yeah, it was my new
Wonderful.
destination in life.
Can you share a little bit about your client experience? How does it show up in a client of yours that has a lot of deep inner child work and maybe
How does it
something,
show up? So
yeah.
again, that's a really big topic. It can be many things. As I said, how would it show up? There could be incidences where they're afraid of. Um, I'm not really sure how to explain this, but when it comes up with your childhood, because for me it's intelligence. I was always told because I'm dyslexic, I'm not very good. So for me, that came up as fearing exams, not wanting to do exams. So, or it could be if you've been sexually abused, or you might be scared of the dark, because of being in a darkened room. It could show up as you don't want to um, make people angry with you because you always had to people please as a child. So you won't say no to people. You can't stand up for yourself. You always want to be around people and please them. So it's so many, it's untrue. And how I think people would understand it is they're not moving forward. They're repeating same patterns. They're picking the same people who are destructive, who are reinforcing their ideas about themselves. So if they think they're not lovable, they will be people pleasing everyone. So it really is an individual. It's you kind of know where things aren't right. It'll be a knowing, I think, really more than anything, or just not moving forward. I know with myself when I've picked terrible boyfriends, they're reinforcing that I'm not good enough. So again, I knew there was something about not feeling good enough as well. So it really is look for the signs of where you're repeating patterns or not standing up for yourself or just that you're not moving forward.
Right.
Something like that, I think, would be an indication. But I think it's a feeling.
Right. A
Is that
feeling.
something that clients already come with, a specific request, or you do like a conversation with them ahead of time? How does that work?
Yeah, so again, I did a healing session just the other week, and it came up we were going into the session with one aspect, but actually it was about joy. And it was about her inner child not knowing what joy was or how to be joyful. And it came that we had to do an inner child healing. It came in naturally. We didn't go, right, we're doing inner child healing. It evolves. Whenever I do a session, it evolves and it will turn up being the right thing. So it will be a knowing that we have to go to the inner child and make the inner child happy. And often our inner children are very angry. They're very hurt because they've not been heard. They've not been able to express their thoughts, their feelings, and emotions. So normally, when I get inner children, they either can't speak or they want to scream. They want to be seen. And again, it can show up in being shy about being seen. You might not want to be seen or make your point of view across. So it evolves in a session. I have done Pacific sessions where they're in a child, but obviously we've had a discovery call first, and I felt this is where we need to go. But it's more of an evolving throughout the session, knowing that I need to go there and being guided.
With your practice,
Beautiful.
Does
Do
that
you
how
make
feel like
often,
the
sense?
majority?
I'm sorry. With your practice, how often do you think like is inner child work in your opinion? About like a certain percentage? Like is it pretty high? Inner child work?
So I didn't catch that.
You breaking
Uh
up a bit, Carrie. Say it again. We can't hear you now.
So I'll just go with most people need inner child work. There's aspects people need healing with. There aspects people just need to bring their inner child in with love. So I always say to someone, bring your child into your heart space. They can chat to you at any time. They're always there, knowing that they are loved and that you are loved. And also, sometimes as an adult, we need to learn from our child how to be more playful because we're putting on the tiaras today. We're kind of being little bit silly, and often as an adult, we don't want to look silly because people will make a judgment. I remember doing cartwheels on the beach, rolling down hills. I didn't care whether I looked good or not. you know. So again, sometimes we need lessons from our inner child, how to be more playful, how to be more carefree. Because I was always running around in bare feet as a child, looking really scruffy, and my mother used to go, "Oh no, look at my daughter." And again, when we go on camera, we always try and look good. So again, we need to learn from our inner children or child how to be carefree, how to, just look at things with wonder as well. I remember making daisy chains. I told my client to go and make a daisy chain, and she did. And she sent me a picture of a daisy chain. So again, we can learn from our inner children about having fun. Which I really, sometimes even I need to touch him with that as well, because we can get too serious as adults, got to do this, got to do that. We're not as carefree as we were. We've always got our phones with us. We're looking at time. As a child, I used to go off into the woods and, pretend I was like hunting something. Whereas now it's like, oh, I'll have to be home soon. So does that make sense? Sorry, Carrie. I
Yeah.
know you had a question.
no, you answered it fine actually. Can you hear me better now? No.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
We can hear you. Yeah.
wonderful. You answered it fine. I was actually asking pretty much like what's the percentage of your clients are the ones that need inner work, child work, inner child work specifically. I feel like there's a lot of people who don't realize how important and impactful it is that the inner child work it encompasses so much of our lives.
Hmm.
And I will be honest, it's one of the areas was the hardest for me, because there was so much I'd locked down
Can you share
because
something? Can
of
you share a
obviously.
specific uh
Um,
situation that you grew
so for
from?
me, yeah. So obviously, I suffered sexual abuse when I was younger, and there are issues around locked doors, being in the dark, and also that hurt as well. So again, I found it really hard to get to my inner child because my inner child had shut down as a way of safety, and
Mhm.
I never realized why I never shut doors. At night, I always have a light on because it makes me feel safe. So again, I couldn't really understand why I always needed a light on or the doors open in a bedroom. I never shut a bedroom door. And it was because of my childhood. And obviously, it took me a long time to break into that inner child because she didn't really want to show herself. And once I did, now I don't have to have the light on. I can lock doors or be locked in a room, which before I couldn't. So again, it showed up in that way. And it's, as I said, for me, it was very hard because my inner child did not want to present itself or be seen. So sometimes it's difficult because you have to, really allow it to come through or allow them to come through. But once you do, you can release so much. And also she felt loved after the session. She felt that she was lovable, that there wasn't something wrong with her, that she was okay. She wasn't wrong. So again, it was so lovely to see her grow and her be happy. So it was a lovely experience, but it can be difficult work because your mind often, I think you probably find this in QTHTT, where
Hmm.
someone of the higher self doesn't, or their subconscious doesn't want to show you something
Yeah.
because it's too traumatic. So I think but if you can delve a bit deeper and go there, it can do so. You can experience so much healing.
Yeah.
I'll be
Yeah. In
doing
QHHT.
cartwheels after this, by the way, girls. I'll be in the garden going, can I do a cartwheel still at 60?
I'm sure you can. Or going
I
to the
might
beach
just
and getting
I
some
might just
ice
go for the
cream.
rolling over. Sorry.
Well, I would love to see that. Or going to I was gonna say going to the beach and getting ice cream, but it is cold in the UK right now, so that might not work out.
I think it's so windy the ice cream might be whipped off. No, so again, with the inner child, I highly recommend it. Or recommend just sending love to your inner child. You don't have to go in deep, but even just sending love, compassion, acceptance. You can do that to yourself internally. Is always good.
Carrie, you were saying something, but you're kind of breaking up a bit again. Can you
No,
repeat it, love?
I'm fine. I just wanted more information about maybe some of how you actually have helped other clients. I think those are really interesting stories to hear. I love that story you just shared about yourself. I mean, that's brilliant, and it's so impactful how something you realize all your life has been an issue and you can get over it. It's like it's amazing
Yeah.
how we can heal ourselves.
So again, it's like Carrie, there are so many ways you can help the inner child. So I've had clients who have been people pleasers because they weren't getting enough love as a child, or where they were just giving love to other people, not looking after themselves because that's the only way they thought they could have love. By clearing that belief as a child, they could actually now stand in their own power and actually realize that they were lovable. So again, it comes on so many levels. And also, that kind of knock-on effect stops you picking people that you have to give you have to give love to because you're not empowered. So it can go on so many levels. Education wise, if you've been told you won't amount to much as a child, then you will always be limiting what you do because you think you'll never amount to much. And so if a parent says you'll work in a shop all your life, then you're not going to go to university or go to college. You're going to pick the shop because that's all you think you can do. So again, what is said to you as a child will reinforce what you do as an adult. So I've done people who have had blocks around whether they're intelligent. I've had that block in myself. I've had people who just feel that they can only have bad, unhealthy relationships because that's all there were. So all of the childhood stories you've been told that you've taken on as your beliefs, or even your ancestors' beliefs are in there that women shouldn't be strong. We should always do what men want us to do. That goes way back into, oh, we need to work hard. All of these beliefs, even from our ancestors, we carry. So again, it's really about changing. Once we know what the inner child has been carrying, we can release it and give a new perspective. And the same with animals. When I do animal inner child work, which is slightly more strange, I do muscle tests for the animals as well. They could have been the runt of the litter, not getting any milk, and felt that all the other brothers and sisters got more than them. And that's why they can be needy pets, wanting to be always around you to kind of get your love because they don't feel strong enough. So again, it's a massive subject, but it is, if you have any worries that you're carrying some beliefs, it's worth delving into it because you can unlock so much.
So, Carrie, let me actually ask you, what childhood trauma, well, not necessarily trauma or belief that you think that you've already worked on? Can't hear you again, love.
Recently, can you hear me now? For a couple, just recently, I learned this one that has been bothering me my whole life, and I didn't realize it because I always thought that I've always been unconventional in my way of thinking. So I never thought that conditioning from my culture would affect me so much because I always saw it differently. I thought I saw it differently, but sometimes it gets so like under your skin and you don't even realize it. That's what I saw. So one thing I learned when I was a toddler or a young child, maybe no less than 5 years old, I saw how my family provided for me. They gave me love, shelter, all these things, but they had certain expectations with each other. I could see the pattern of them, like, oh, well, they have to do it this way because the other person has to do it this way. And I just saw this pattern, right? So for me, I was like, oh, well, since they gave me love and shelter and food and protection from the outside world, I'm going to suppress myself for them as a gratitude. Like, I'm going to thank them by not being me, strange and like thinking differently and not following everybody's norms. And outwardly, I mean, inwardly, I was confident in my beliefs. I didn't mind that I was different. I just didn't want to impose upon others. So I suppressed myself. And that's the thing I learned recently. And I didn't realize how much that little thing grew and avalanched into such choices I made in my life. I mean, like, looking back, I used to be like, why did I make those choices? It made no sense. It was automatic. It becomes automatic. And then until you realize it and let go of it, then you can really let go of it. So that's my story. But before I move on, I want to ask Jacky, really, it's amazing you can muscle test on an animal. Can you share how that works a little bit, just as a side note?
I just want to say very quickly, probably one of the reason you were assimilating to your family's beliefs is because it kept you safe as well. Because the interesting words that you brought up were, they gave me shelter, food. So again, there's
it's a safety
secondary
measure.
gain. If I assimilate to their way of being, I'm kept safe. So that would have been why that was your gain. So how I muscle test for animals, I become their surrogate. So I muscle test, I say to Creator or God, Universe, Divine, I will become the animal surrogate. So I muscle test, am I Jacky? It normally says no. And then if I muscle test, I'm Buttons, it will say yes. And then I have a because we're working with the animal's higher self, because I always need permission to work with an animal with its higher self. And I muscle test the beliefs that have come to me. So the one, as I said, what the one recently was my mummy and daddy will die if they fall asleep, they won't wake up,
Oh.
and that came to me before I even did the session because I was really shocked. That was the dog's actual bottom belief, and we
Oh.
muscle tested it, and it was a yes. It was a strong
Wow.
yes. So yeah, so I just become
That's
their
beautiful.
surrogate.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you.
My pleasure.
So,
Well,
Sophia, how
Jackie
about
also has
you?
many other. Yeah, oh, about me? Oh
Yeah.
my God, so
Yeah.
many. You know,
It's so nice to be human.
I
Right?
know. Well, one of the ones that I feel like I'm still working on, I feel like it's always a process, is believing that, well, I'll use this one. So I don't know why, and again, why our parents do things is, they did their best, but it could be the noise. But one, I'm youngest of three. So we always had to share. There's always that aspect. So you never have anything of your own, technically, right? And then my mom would also, I feel like if it's toys that were annoying to her, she will like force me give them away to someone. So she would be like, well, your cousin is over and they don't really have that many toys. Why won't you give this toy to them? So what I noticed with myself is that every time now I buy something nice for myself, my first thought is, who can I give it out to as a gift?
No, and I totally get that. Yeah, I'm not
So now I
deserving.
stop myself.
Yeah,
Yeah, but that's about deserving nice things or deserving things in general. Or when people give me gifts, I'm always like, well, nah, it's okay. Like it's that first feeling that, well, it's deserving, right? Deserving it,
yeah,
or so I think I've gotten better with it. So,
yeah.
but still, it's learning to receive. I'm very good at giving, but it's learning to receive.
And again, that's an aspect of, I do the same, Sophia. I'm trying not to. If I buy a crystal and my sister comes to my house, she go, "Oh, that's fair,"
Yeah.
And as again, I'm the youngest. It's about giving. Yeah, you give. So
Yes.
again, and that's about. There's an aspect of that if I have it, it will be taken away as well. If there's
Mm.
something I like, it'll go. So why don't I just give it away? Then it's done. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm
Yeah,
receiving
makes
as
sense.
well.
Yes, and I just want to point it out. Any child work does not mean your parents are horrible and it's all their
No,
fault. They did their best based on the
yeah,
knowledge that they had at the moment. That's it.
Right.
There are no perfect parents, right? And
no,
if you are a parent, and I feel like as females, I don't know what men do, as females, we're constantly feeling that, we're not good enough for our children, or maybe only I think that. I don't know. But I'm always thinking, am I screwing him up, right? Royally. But
Everyone does
we,
that.
yes. But this is what we signed up for. That's what they signed up for us to, I'm going to say it, screw them over some way so
and
they can learn.
yeah, and I think also, Sophia, when I look, as a generational example, my mother's mother wasn't allowing my mamas to travel or be as free. As we go through the generations, things are changing. People are more aware because there's so much more knowledge out there now about, what's right, what's wrong, and when you look at yourself and I look at myself, I would always praise my child, whatever they did. Even if they weren't getting A's at school, I would say, you know what, darling, you're doing great. You're doing great. You can do anything. So again, I think we as people learn from our parents' mistakes because we're more aware. And I feel that the next generations, they're going to be in such a better place than, say, my generation, because I'm much older than you guys. So, it's amazing how things are changing. So I think we're all doing so much better than we realize, is what I would
Mm-hmm.
say, because you've learned from what things happen to you. You're now not repeating those mistakes, and we
Mm-hmm.
often want to end one of the things in theta healing, we want to end what we're carrying through on our ancestors, our DNA. We end it
Mhm.
in this lifetime, so we're not passing it on to the next generation as well. Because, I don't want, if I had a child, I don't have children, but if I had a child, I wouldn't want them to have that belief the only way you've got to work is by working really hard and having no life. So again, we are, the next generation is in such a better place now.
Yeah, we're learning. We're learning.
Learning. And I have
Yeah.
to say, my son was the one who taught me two things. He said, he always says that, if I say something, because again, it's the same tapes from our parents,
Yeah.
right? Sometimes come out, and he always says, he's like, I'm doing my best. And I feel
Yeah.
like we all need to tell it to ourselves. I'm doing my best. Whenever that critic in your head
Yeah.
starts criticizing. And another one he also taught me, don't work harder, work smarter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He's
So
a
the new
smart kid.
generation, I
Yeah.
know, the new generation already know more than we do.
And I think we did for our parents as well. I think there
Yeah.
was times when we were like enlightening them too.
Yeah.
So it's like you say, we're learning in generationally we're getting better and more open. So it's beautiful to see. Yeah.
Well, I can
Well,
remember
yeah,
when I was
go ahead.
back in the 80s, my poor parents, I used to moonbathe my crystal out on the patio in all their best their china. And my dad goes, "Oh my God, what is she doing?" And my mother used to go, "He's moonbathing the crystals to get energy." And I've got a lovely tapestry where my mother's got Seattle, Washington. It's an American. 1997 she made it for, and it's like a medicine wheel, medicine and a pipe, and it's about the web of life. My mum went, "Oh, I saw this for you." Whilst I was, "Oh, I make it for you." So yeah, it's lovely, and it's got Jacqueline 1997. It's lovely. It's beautiful.
Oh,
So again, I'm sure all of my strange ways did affect my parents with, oh, it's energy.
it's wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Jackie, for coming on to our
Thank you.
show. It was a pleasure and so much fun. Maybe you'll have
Yeah.
you again if you
I
Oh
would
want.
no.
love that.
Yeah,
Just
it'd be fun.
say for those who are watching, just put it in the
Mhm.
comments what childhood things
Yeah.
or beliefs are you working on or you would like to work on. And Jackie,
Yeah.
how can people find you? We'll also put it in the
Yeah.
description.
So my website should be live. I've been updating it for a very long time, but it should be live on Monday. Or you
Okay.
can either reach out to me on email. It's Jacky@ascensionhealing.org, and we can book a discovery call with me and see whether we're fit to help you move forward as well. I always recommend one just to make sure our energies align.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
Thank you for joining us today.
Oh,
Thank
thank you for
you.
having me. It's been truly delightful. I just feel like I need to go and get a tiara now.
Yes, yes. Go
Yes.
find the one that you love. Thank
Bye,
you.
So
ladies.
thank you, ladies.
Bye.
I'll leave you in peace. Thank you for having me today.